Okay, students, this is a video recording for Module 4, which is coming up in your Operating System Practical Test 2, working with the Bash shell and shell scripts. So this is a video recording mainly to help you revise, or if you are absent to any of my class, you can use this one to do the revision for upcoming tests, okay? So mainly in this module, you will be working with Bash shell. So you're going to learn like, okay, how do I define a shell variables? Okay, and variables, there's two types where you have environment variables and you have user-defined variables as well. So mainly this chapter will first teach you about variables. Then slowly we go to scripts, okay? When you know how to define a variables, you know about logics, then you can learn how to actually create a shell script and execute them, just like how you do those standard programming. How do you create a functions that actually, let's say, create a functions that actually can read user input and do calculation, for instance. So this is how this chapter is going to work, and this is what you're going to learn at the end of the day. And last but not least, we're going to learn standard output and input, redirections, and as well as times. It's okay if you're not familiar with all these terms. Slowly or sooner, after I think after you finish this video, you'll be all right. Okay. So just a quick review, a quick view of the types of Linux shell. So in Linux, we have different shell like Bourne shell, Cron shell, C shell, TC shell, and more. Okay. But what we're going to focus on this one is we are going to do with the Bash shell. And how do you check which shell you're using, right? So I believe you're very familiar with this interface, which is your VirtualBox Ubuntu. So you can actually check on which shell we are using by just typing it echo. Echo basically is to print, and the environment variable of shell. So the moment I print this one, I say /bin/bash. This is basically bash shell. Okay, so just now the command I'm running is echo, followed by this $sign and uppercase shell. So you can try to play it with this command in your terminal, in your own terminal, since you're doing a revision. Bear in mind that if you did not type in this $sign, or if you type this one in small letters, the system won't be able to recognize what you're typing in. They won't print you the login shell, okay? So next one. This is to tell you that you can actually switch from one shell to another shell. So let's say you want to move to bash shell or to move to Cron shell, C shell, can do that, but don't do that in accent because this is not what we are covering. Okay, so without further ado, let's start with the first thing, which is variables. So in your previous programming, other programming language that you have taken, like in other courses, right? I believe you know x equals to 1. If you do this, basically x is a variable. Okay, so this is something that you already have some concepts in your mind. It's not day one you've learned programming, right? So in Bash shell, we have variable as well. So variable is somehow for you to store and information. Okay, so there's two types, as I said. First is environment variables. Next is user-defined variables. Okay, in environment variables, it is much more like those variables storing the system information. Okay, so the keyword is system information. Any info that related to the system, you store in environment variable. In contrast, user-defined variables, basically for you to store variables that you define yourself. So for example, I want to say, okay, I'm going to create a variable name, which is going to store my name value. Okay, so I'm going to do like, okay, name, this is the variable. Okay, and I want to put my name inside here, so I can do like Mimi, yeah, Sang, Lu. So this is how I can do. Okay, so this is how you define a variable, and that is called user-defined variables. Now, in environment variables, there are a few commands that you might need to get familiarized. Okay, so currently in your terminal, if you wish to see what are all the environment variables that's available and their value, you can just type in this command, which is called set. Okay, 1 second, set. So you will realize that, wow, that's like really a lot. If I scroll out and let you guys see, there are a lot of them. So you can see the variables and whatsoever, everything here. So this command Okay, for information, the command that I'm running is set. Okay, the set command allows to list out all the environment variables and the values inside. Okay, what about echo? Echo is to print something. So for example, if I were to echo like the first one that I'm on, which is the shell, they can tell me what the shell is this. If I just want to echo some ordinary value, I can do this. They just do the printing. So echo, it's to, you can either do a context specified variable or you can just print whatever line. So this is the environment variable. So this is like whatever wording. Okay. Now next for env command. Env command is to list out the environment and user defined variable as well, provided they are exported. Okay. If the variable somehow have run the export command, the moment you do env, you will be able to see it. So let's try on the env and see what you get. So as you can see, all these variables are listed here. They are being exported. Okay, if you did not export the variable, it won't show here. Yeah. Now, last one, which is, since we mentioned about env is to show exported environment. So how do we export? We run this export command. Okay. The moment you run this export command onto the variable you created, okay, it will being shown when you type in the env. All right, so let's just try with this one. So I'm gonna clear my screen and I say I want to create a variable which called name, and it's going to be my name. All right, so I echo the name. You will see I have already set this variable. And the next thing is what we're going to do is we can do this export. Okay, so that my variable actually goes into the env. So but before that, yeah, I think we can just, no, before that, we are just going to do the export. Okay, so the moment I do export the variable name, and right now if I list out the env, I can actually look for my name. Just give me 1 second. Where is it? Okay, you know what? I'm just going to, this one cannot copy paste. Okay, clear my screen. I'm gonna do env and I'm going to search for grab for the one that I call name. Oh, it's not. Oh, I know why, because I put this on. Okay, so just now the command I have a mistake where I type one extra long sign there. Okay, so the moment I remove it and I export it, as you can see right now, the env already got my name inside. Or if I put it this way, env, yeah, it's here. Okay, so after you export for a particular variable, the moment you run the env command, this env, it will show up. Okay, so that's all for these slides. We're just talking about the environment variables. Okay, now next, some of the default environment variables where you can print it out. Okay, so how can you practice? You just echo followed by like user. You know, I can echo the home. I can echo path and so much more, which we are going to tell you in the upcoming slides. Like, so these are all the environment variables. You can actually print it out. You can see their values, but don't have to memorize them. These are things that the more you practice and you're going to be familiar. Okay, now let's move on to the next, which is the second type of variables. It's called user-defined variables. So the moment I assign a new variable, bear in mind, please take note that variable equals to value. There's no space, okay? There is no space before or after the assignation of a value to the particular variables. So in order to create variables, we can create for, variables can hold the value of a number, character, string. Okay? If you want to have space in between, make sure you include the open and close quotes. So that's how you do. So just so if you remember, I actually created my name variable, right? Okay, so there's space in between. That's why the moment I actually, when I try to create this variable, I have to include the open and close sign. Not sign, but quotes, yeah. Okay, so let's try with another one. Let's say I want to create a variable 1 equals to, this is a demo on creating variable 1. And this is called user defined variable 1. And I can echo the variable 1 out. And I get to see like what's the value that I have input. Alright, pretty straightforward. Now move on to the next where we're going to learn about some mathematics. Okay, if today I say like x6 equals to 10 times 2, the moment I print out the x, I will get 10 times with the sign of times 2 instead of getting the result of it. So if just in case you want to do some mathematics calculation here, what you can do is at the beginning of you assigning the variable, you include one more comment which is called let. Okay, by doing this way, the moment you print out, you get the calculation instead of treating it as a string. So what happened is we have just add one more extra let here. So as you can see, the moment you put the let command in front of the algorithm that you have pass in, they're going to tell you not tell you, but they're going to do the math. Okay, and there's one more command called unset. So the moment, okay, right now, if I print the x is 20, but if I do unset variable x and I print it out again, hey, my bad. I did this one. Okay, echo, where's my x? Okay, you're gonna say there's nothing here. Okay, the x is being unset, so this is how it works. Now, if there is okay, on the right hand side here, I won't do the demo for you, but I will ask you guys to do it on your own. You just type this one as one line, enter, and then you follow by the next one to observe like, oh, if I type this in, that is what output I'm supposed to get. So remember that in this chapter, if you want to master it, the more you practice, the more you can get your command and your script with the higher accuracy of correct. Higher accuracy, basically to get it correct, I have to practice more. Now, the next thing we're going to learn is different types of quotes and what are the functions of them. Now, first we have single quotes followed by double quotes, and we have backslash followed by the backtick, okay? So let me open up the notepad to show you guys. So this is a single quote. This is a double quote, okay? Now we have backslash, this is forward back, and we have this tick, okay? So tick, the tick is the symbol that next to the number 1, okay? So this, why did we learn about this? Because each of them actually carries a meaning, and you'll learn it soon, very, very soon. So instead of telling you like reading all these lines, you can read yourself. I'm just going to use demo to show you guys. Okay. Now, first thing first, let's talk about this single quotes. The moment you use single quotes, right? Basically, you want the system to treat whatever words you put inside this single quotes as a string. Okay, as normal string. Okay. Example: if I try to do like the shell I am currently using is, and I put it this way, shell. And this way, it means that I want the system to treat this one as a normal string. So instead of telling you you're using the bean bash shell, they're just going to print this exact sentence for you. Okay, so let's try on that one. Oh, there's no paste here. So I'm just gonna say echo. Okay, let me clear the screen so you guys have better echo. And I use single quote. Okay, the thing is, the shell that I'm using right now is, so by right I wanted to print a shell, but because I'm using the single quote, you see, they treat this $sign shell as a normal text, normal string. So if you want the system to treat your text as normal text or normal string, you use a single quote. Okay, but things change whenever we use a double quote. Alright, the moment you use the double quote, they are going to treat the string, okay, the here as a variable instead. That's why I get the output of /bin/bash. If I'm going too fast or if you did not understand what is happening here, please make sure you rewind the video and go back and listen again and look carefully again what is happening here, all right? So whatever demo I'm showing just now, basically, is like using a single quote, using a double quote, you get different answer, all right? Now the next one, what is backslash? Okay, so this one, backslash, right? We have learned the first one and learned the second one. The first one basically treat everything as string. The second one treat whatever inside. If there's variable, they can recognize that will show you. Now, backtick is when there's special character, okay? Like for example, this one. In double quote, they treat this as a variable. But right now, if you say, I don't want the system to treat the $ as a special character, I don't want the system to turn it into a variable, then you just do this backslash, and you will see that now it no longer treat this shell, $ shell as a variable, but it treat it as a normal text instead. Okay, so this is how it works for the backslash. So with that being said, you can stop the video here and rest for a while, or you may continue if your brain are still available. If it's too much for you to handle, please make sure you take a rest, okay? Because what next we're going to do is we're gonna learn on how to create shell scripts, okay? So what exactly is scripts? All these wordings you can read on yourself. To put everything simple, it's just like a programming language, okay? You run like a system and it actually helps you to do all the repetitive tasks if you have any, okay? So a script basically acts like the programming language that allows you to write a mini or a small system, okay, that helps you to automate whatever task you have, okay? So how do we actually create shell script? I'm going to do a very, very simple one. And I believe, no, not believe, but I assume that you already know what is nano. So I'm going to nano call test one. Okay, testing one. Okay, nano test one. So in a shell script, the very first line that I have told you guys in classroom before, which you must make sure you write the hashbang, okay, the shebang, okay, followed by /b/bash. So the first line here is basically to tell the your shell, yeah, basically to tell which shell you want to use. For our case, we're using bash shell, so you must write the shebang. Okay. So the moment you create a script file, first line you must write this shebang, then only you can start. So of course, in this slide, they actually give you sample like cd10, echo removing temporary files, then list out everything into two, and then remove any files that's the chunk. Okay, but to put things simple, and I don't want to confuse you, I'm just going to do a very simple one. Which in this bash shell, I want it to echo that we are now running the bash, running this bash shell. So the reason I type this in is because later on, the moment we try to run this bash shell, I want it to print it out so we know that we are actually running the bash shell. And of course, if you still remember, there are multiple commands that you have learned since week 1. Like you have command like, okay, I want to print out the date, I want to print out the calendar, I want to list everything here, okay? So that's how you actually can put the command into a script file. Okay, so to put things simple, because this is just a very basic demo, I'm just going to include echo, date, calendar, and ls. Okay, once I've done Control O to save, Control O, enter, and Control X to exit from the nano. So what are we going to do next is we are going to run this test one script file. If I ls, as you can see, I have this one file. But how to make it runnable, that's what important, okay? Make sure you remember, in order for you to run a file, this is something you have learned in the last module, but still, in order for you to run a file, you have to make the file runnable first. So how do we make the file runnable? Executable basically is runnable. You need to do chmod plus x followed by the file name. Okay, so before I do that, let me show you. The moment I do ll, do you see this is my test one file? As you can see, the permission is owner can read and write, group owner can read and write, and other user can read only. So in order to make it runnable, chmod plus x followed by the file name. Okay, the moment I do enter, and let's see when I LL, first thing, of course, you realize the color change, right? And the next thing, if you look at the permission, the owner now can read, write, execute. The group owner now can read, write, execute. And same goes, not really same goes, but somehow the other user can read and execute it. So this is how you make a file runnable. Okay, what happened after you make it runnable? You have to run it, right? So how do we run it? We use a dot slash. Okay. So if you look over here, I want to run this test file, I dot slash and followed by the test file, test one. Enter. Do you see now? It actually prints out we are now running this bash shell. And this is the today's date, this is the calendar, and this is the output from running the ls command. So that is how straightforward it is for you to create a file. Okay, so make sure you remember, the moment you create a shell script, you have to write the hash bash /bin/bash to tell that you want to use the bash kernel to run it. And to make sure a file is runnable, you need to do chmod plus x followed by the file name. And to run it, you simply just type in dot slash followed by the file name, and this is how you can run the file that you have created. If at this point you are still confusing, please make sure you rewind again the video back and look at it again. Okay, so just know the hash bang, right? Basically, it's shebang, hash bang. So basically, we write it in, so we tell them which kernel we want, like which shell we want to use. Okay, so for this one, I can type in this video, but I highly encourage you guys to type it in your local PC. I mean, you are writing in PC, right? Please make sure you do the practice in your PC as well. Okay, so how do we actually do? Now, first of all, you nano. We're just gonna put sample one because this is the sample one practice, and I'm gonna put in hashbang /bin/bash. As you can see, these two, they are actually commands, so I'm not gonna type them in. Okay, I'm just gonna type echo date and time is, and you can put date, and then you echo your user name is who am I echo, and echo -n your current directory is green looking directory. So you see, I'm just gonna type this in. Okay, hold on, let me zoom. Okay, so I'm gonna save it as simple one. So remember the next step I ask you guys to do is chmod plus x followed by the file. So when I do ll runnable, so how do I run it? I'm just gonna type in dot slash and followed by sample one. So you can see the date and time is, your username is, and the current working directory, we are inside the desktop. So let me just cut the sample one for you guys. You realize that the moment you type echo, it comes out. Date command, it comes out. This new line is because I put the echo in front, that's why I have a new line. And I print out the next line, which is your username is, and followed by who am I command, that's why you see the tiny UMT. And I echo another new line here, that's why you get a new line. And last but not least, I print out your current working directory is PWD. So if you want to learn what is this -n, basically to make them into the same single line. Alright? So with that being said, we're done with the simple one. Now, next thing we need to learn is arguments and special variables. So the moment you run a script file, you can actually pass it parameter. For example, if today I define a function called sum, and the sum is going to take integer x and integer y, later on have to return x plus y, the value of x plus y. So this is a functions, right? Okay, what I want you to know is that this and this are the arguments that you have passed in, or we call parameters. Okay, so the moment that the user passes parameters and you want to do something with the parameters, you can use the shell arguments here. Okay, the arguments and special variables. So what do you use? You're going to use $1, $2, $3, and so on and so forth. I will explain what are them slowly, don't worry. And of course, like 1, 2, 3, we have 0 as well. We have the hashtag and we have the star. Okay, so if you're confused, don't worry, just watch it to the end. Now, in order to let you guys know what is $0, 1, 2, the star, the alias, and the hashtag, we are going to create our sample 2. Okay, so right now I'm going to nano sample 2. Okay, and I'm going to specify hashbang first. So I'm going to say that echo, this is to teach you what are this one, this one, this one. And you have alias, where's my alias? You have this star, and of course you have more. Okay, because it's actually doing an increment. Alright, so let me back to here. Okay, the moment you put 0 is to tell you that the actual running script is 1. Is 1 plus what is it is what. Okay, and $1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you can up to 100 or whatsoever. It's basically to tell you the parameter that you have passed in. So let's do these 3 first. Okay, so back to my terminal, I'm gonna print out that the name of this shell script is $0. Echo the first parameter I passed in is $1. Echo the second parameter I passed in is $2. And if I want to get the third one, I just simply type the third parameter is $3. Okay, so I'm gonna save this one, and I'm gonna see module plus x with this sample 2, and let me run the sample 2 now. You will see that what are sample 2 and nothing. Okay, just for you to take a look here. Oops. Actually, I pass in $0, $1, $2, star, and alias and star. So it's okay if you cannot get it at this moment. Just take a look first. Now, this is what we put. Okay, let's take a look at this one. The name of this shell script is $0. The moment I do $0, it will take whatever I type in here. And behind that, there's nothing. It's nothing because I did not type anything there. So let me try to do this one to show you. Right now, I actually run the same script file, but I pass in. I say, so I pass 3 parameters inside. So the moment I enter, you start to see that the name of this shell script is sample 2. The first thing I pass in is haha. So this is haha indeed. We have haha and we have no. So the dollar sign 0, 1, 2, 3 is $0, $1, $2, and $3. So of course, if I'm passing like whole behind, there's nothing show because I did not do the $4, right? But if I nano the sample 2 and I say echo, printing the fourth column and $4, and I'm gonna save it again, and I run it again, and you see now the haha is here. So this is how easy it is. Oh, I think I go to the wrong tab. So this is how easy it is, like what $0, 1, 2. So this is the first parameter, not really the first parameter, but the file that you're running, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you have more values left behind, you have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, so on and so forth. Okay, now what happened is we're gonna know what are the hashtag, star, and alias. Okay, so how do we actually learn better? Let me turn the screen and nano. Okay, anytime you can do it yourself as well. Just try to print. Printing the it's okay. I'm just gonna make this one here. $sign hashtag echo $sign alias echo and followed by the $sign stop. Okay. So let me save that and let me run on that. We're gonna see that there are 4 parameters that are passing. So to let you guys have a better view, you're just gonna see that the moment I use the $sign hashtag, it's gonna give me 4. And the moment I use $sign alias, it's going to give me the parameters that are passing. The star is basically all the arguments are passing. Now back to our slides. This is the number, that's why you see 4. This is the full argument string, which is the star, everything. And the parameters alias is basically a combination. That's why you see the $sign star and alias, they are same, okay? Because one is trying to give you the full arguments and one is trying to give you all the parameters as well. And that is how it actually works, okay? So back to our slides. Let's move on to another one, which is called mathematical expression. So mathematical expression is for us to do all the calculation. In order to do the calculation, you need to know the EXPR. Okay, then I shall stop the video here first. And for whatever I'm going to teach next, you just do it in the second video. So you don't drain after watching everything.